It is June 12th, 2019, or at least it will be when you all see this. And that day is officially my 2-year anniversary of the DIY diva cut that was awful and started me on this journey. So if you've been here for a little bit, you know that in February of 2016, I did irreversible bleach damage to my hair. It slowly but surely started breaking off. Tried to keep my length, didn't happen. Eventually had to chop it off. Brought it all the way up to my shoulders and even in length. My curls still didn't come back, so I kind of panicked and then gave myself a DIY diva cut or a DIY layers or whatever you want to call it. It was awful. It didn't bring my curls back, and it ultimately led me to here. But what you all don't know is what actually got me here and what actually got me to that point of cutting my hair, because it wasn't really about my hair. So where to start? There's a ton going way back, but I'm gonna keep it to within this time frame, the same time frame of me doing this bleach damage and all that, right? So fun fact, something that a lot of people do not know about me. I've been married before, and that marriage ended in around October of 2015. I did want it to end. There wasn't work being done on both ends to sustain a marriage, so I worked my way out of it, but it was 100% the right thing for me. So that happened October of 2015. I met Daniel about a month after my divorce was final. Neither of us were really looking for anything serious. He was a poker player from Germany that was only in the US on occasions. I had just gotten out of a marriage. All the details of that are definitely another video. It's an interesting story. If you're interested in hearing it, definitely let me know down below and maybe we can make that happen. But that's the short story. Is Daniel and I met and we got together. It's a very weird thing to have something that you know you love and you want, and it's like perfect timing, but then also simultaneously like healing yourself, right? At that point, I didn't realize that I had as much healing that I needed to do even still. Here I had the like absolute best hair of my life, and then I met like the person that I had figured out that I wanted, and so I was kind of on this high, right? Like I was kind of on this like, oh, okay, like I can do no damage, and I don't know that I was really truly like checking in with myself, if I'm completely honest. I was like, all right, I can handle some highlights. Like, look how healthy this hair is. So February of 2016, I went in for my 3rd round of highlights, but this time we did it a little bit differently. We did it all over and we did it on top of previous color. Really bad idea. I was following like a lot of the CG steps. I was sulfate, silicone free, all that fun stuff, but like bleach damage is like, it's a thing and it really requires special care, and I had no idea. So as many of you know, my hair never came back from it. That's the reality. I did not know how to take care of it. I really didn't. Now I was in this like new relationship and I had a lot of focus on that, and I kind of didn't know what to do with this damage, and it's kind of making me like laugh and even smile a little bit now, because now like looking back, like I was overwhelmed and I had baggage. Like I rented a new apartment and I had all this old furniture that like doesn't fit the new apartment, but it needed to go somewhere, right? And I didn't know what to do. So it's like trying to fit it in, it isn't. So I just didn't, right? So I didn't look into it a ton, and it still had length and it still would kind of curl on wash day. So I just thought, It eventually like broke off at a weird angle. Like this was higher, had a freaking mullet. So like the beginning of June, like probably the 4th, 5th of 2017, went to my hairstylist and I was like, all right, like let's take the last couple of inches off and like actually even out my hair. We cut, I think probably 4 inches, 3 inches off of my cute little party in the back. You know, one of the also motivations that I had in going to get my hair cut at this point is I thought like if I cut my hair, like my curls would completely bounce back at that point. Well, they did not. They did not. Funny thing is on June 12th, I remember just thinking, well, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm gonna fix it, and I'm just gonna try and do it myself. So I got my husband's crappy little beard scissors and I gave myself my first DIY diva cut. And I say first because within it, like I think 2 weeks of that first cut, I cut my hair 2, possibly 3 additional times. It was a mess. But now, like, why is June 12th important? And why was I kind of losing it? Well, there's a couple reasons. It took me a couple days to realize the actual date that I cut my hair. And the reason I could figure out, or that there was like something that like mattered of that date, is because it actually was my anniversary with my ex. We were married on June 12th, 2010, and it was our first anniversary not together. It was weird when I realized it because I didn't want to be with that person. And I mean, there's really no other way to say that. So it's a very surprising feeling to be like, okay, well, why is this so triggering? Is this just an absolute coincidence, or was it something bigger? In my head, it was for sure something bigger. What are those memes, like something along the lines of like, you know, a woman changes her hair, she'll change the world, or that kind of thing. It's like along those lines. Not that I was changing the world, but I was changing my world, right? I was, you know, cutting off some of the damage. I was, years of damage is the truth. I didn't realize it at the time. And so now, like, looking back, it's kind of funny because I'm like, oh, like, look at where we are. But at the time, it felt very detrimental. And then, you know, so this happened, and you know, it was kind of like, okay, like I screwed up my hair. I was kind of like wrapping my brain around like, all right, you just got to deal with this, and it'll grow back. It just is what it is. But then a month later, less than a month later, my my bulldog Lola passed away. She had a heart tumor, and it had been diagnosed like 2 years prior. And originally she'd only been given about 6 months to live. And she wasn't doing good. It's crazy. She wasn't doing good at the time at all. She seemed like she could go at any time. And I had almost 2 more years with her I mean, almost to the T, for her to be diagnosed. And if you've lost a dog, you get it. It's a huge thing to lose. I had Lola since I was 17 years old. Talked my mom into letting me get a dog. You know, this dog really grew up with me. She was with me through my first apartment. She was with me through my first marriage, every move. A lot of trauma was with me on this new chapter of my life, and the timing of all of it was really devastating. As debilitating as the timing of it all felt, it slowly but surely like forced me to fix it and address it and handle it. And I didn't quite understand everything that I was looking at the time. It was then that I knew I needed to start. I had to figure out how the hell to do anything with my hair. My curls weren't there. I needed to find ways to bring it back. Stumbled across Olaplex, stumbled across Righteous Roots, then Bounce Curl, I think literally in that order. And slowly but surely it started coming together. So then like I was bringing them back, and I just found this like newfound appreciation, especially once like those first couple of times when I really started seeing my curls show back up. It was really exciting because it was like, okay, like I'm healing this. I'm healing this. And it represented the healing that I was doing in all aspects of my life. There's a ton more to that story. There's a ton of, you know, like learning and growing that I did with myself, that I did with my husband, that I've done with family. I think the idea for this video even came a few days ago. I've thought, oh, I should share my curly hair journey at some point and whatever. But then a few days ago, I realized like, okay, it's about to be my 2-year anniversary. And then when I thought about what I felt at the time and what that all really was, it kind of made me laugh, is the truth. Because I think for the first time, like, I understood it. My hair, I had to get rid of that dead weight. I needed it off. And I did have to have the courage to do it myself. And that lesson alone has been a life lesson. And then, you know, my puppy dog, I really do believe, you know, I got her diagnosis 2 years before she passed, and I really do believe that my perfect little puppy got me to where she knew I would be safe and that she could go. And then she went. And that's the truth, is I was safe. I was safe to cut my hair. I was safe to let those things grow. I was safe, really, for the first time in my life, to truly experience the pain and grief, not just from those events, but from my childhood. It was the first time that I really was ever able to just sit in it. And so I did. I chopped that shit off and I sat in it. And it did, it grew back. And even better, I don't know that my curls have ever looked this good. It grew back. And what's coming out the other side is not just someone who has more knowledge about their curls, but someone who has found safety in their life, themselves, who is taking their life into their own hands. Someone who is setting healthy boundaries and acknowledging feelings and dealing with them when they're present. Someone who is, for the first time in their life, feeling free to be creative and speak their truth and chase after their dreams. It's taken me a little bit to get here. A lot of deep conditioners, some protein treatments, some cuts, some DIY, a lot of professional. It's taken me some experimentation, lots of diffusing, a ton of shampooing, because y'all know I love my shampooing. Patience, some acceptance, some bravery. To get here. But for the first time ever, I feel like I'm here.